Hello there, my Stampin' friends. Welcome to Movie Monday with Jody Brackbell, Stampin' Queen. And today's card is this gorgeous black ice technique card. This is a direct case from a friend of mine in Canada. Her name is Lena. And we did this in my WOW class, and so I just wanted to share it with you today. I can tell you that when this video airs, celebration is over, so you will not be able to purchase the Heartfelt or earn the Heartfelt Blooms stamp set any longer, but that's okay. You can use any stamp set that you choose. All that you need is the basic black archival ink and some foil paper. So let me show you how we're going to create this card. Again, Heartfelt Blooms is the stamp set that I use, but it is discontinued because celebration is over. So we're going to start off with a piece of scrap paper. And what I want to do is take my piece of foil. We're going to use the champagne foil here. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back. I don't want to use too much, but I just want to tack it down so that it's not going to move while I'm doing this technique. So I'm going to take another piece of scrap paper, just lay that over the side, and I've got my basic black archival. And what I'm going to do is hold this down with my hand. So I'm trying to avoid touching the foil so that first I don't get fingerprints on it, but second, whenever I go to do the other side, that the ink won't dry right away. And so I don't want to smear it with my fingers. So I'm just going to catch the edge. So what you want to do is have your ink pad locked in place, and you're going to kind of work with the edge of your ink pad here. So I'm holding that down, and I've got that at an angle, and I'm just going to drag it across my foil. Okay, so I want to go down, and then I'm also going to come and go the other way and go up. So really what I want is this feathering here at both ends. You don't want to have your ink pad flat and go across the top, or what you're going to have is just a bunch of black ink on your foil, and you won't be able to see the image that you're about to stamp. So then I'm going to take my scrap, and this is what I'm avoiding right here is fingerprints. So I'm just going to lay that scrap piece of paper over the top or over the other side, and I'm going to do the same exact thing on this side as I'm going to go down and up. Okay, so now I've got that drag mark across my foil paper. Then I'm going to ink up my stamp really, really well. So you want to make sure that you've got it good and inked. And you do need to use either the archival black, or if you have StazOn black, that would work. Memento is not going to work. You need to have something that's going to adhere real well to this foil. So I'm going to stamp that down carefully so that it doesn't slide, and I'm going to give it a couple seconds to transfer, and then peel that off. Okay, so it almost looks like, I don't know, like an old style photo negative or something like that. Now, what you need to do is allow this to dry, and it does take a little bit of time because the foil is shiny. It's not real porous. So you can set it aside and air dry it, or you could zap it with your heat tool. Okay. One thing I do want to share is by the time this video has aired, you will hear that the retired list is out, and we are losing our archival inks, and they just did not quite meet the quality that Stampin' Up! Requires. So our basic black and our basic gray archival are retiring. So if you love them and you want to keep them, grab yourself a re-inker, and you can keep working with them without any problem. We will be continuing to carry the Memento Tuxedo black ink, and we're also bringing StazOn back as well. So while I have you guys here, I do want to share another announcement, and that is that we are going to bring out all new ink pad cases. So there's a color revamp, which I talk about on my Facebook page. And so we're getting rid of some colors. We're bringing some old retired colors back. We're bringing brand new colors back. But when you look at that retired list, you're going to see that all the ink pads are listed, and that's because we've got a new style of ink pad. So I'm really, really pleased with these. They are just a little bit more leaner and meaner, so to speak, a little bit kind of brought up updated a little bit. Is that what I'm trying to say? So questions had come up about these ink pads. So here is the old versus the new. You can see that it is a teeny tiny bit shorter, but it is going to be pretty much the same width. These are now stackable, so they have little feet on the bottoms and they have little holes on the top, so you can stack them. Way, way more aerodynamic, much better at saving space, because these guys, you can see how much difference that there is. So one of the main things is that they open this way now, which is awesome, and then slide in. Okay, so that's great. They're made a little bit tighter so that they don't fly off like they used to. We used to lose tops every now and then. We also have a defoamer agent added to them so that before, when they were inky, they would have a little bit of bubbles to them. So we now have a defoamer added in here. We've got the new opening, which is so much easier for everybody. We also are going to have a color stamp inside there, which is on the back here. You just put that right inside, so when your ink pad is open, now everyone can see what color that ink is and not wonder. And then we just open it and close it. So I'm really, really excited about that. But I did want to let you know Archival Black is leaving. Archival Gray is leaving. You can grab your ink pads and grab your re-inkers by May 31st is when our retired list is over, because the new catalog starts June 1st, but products are all accessories like that, all while supplies last. So you do want to make sure that you grab those quickly, okay, because they will sell out. So here is my project. That was a little sidebar. Sorry, I got a little distracted, but I wanted to make sure you knew what was up with the inks. This is mine that is now dry. And a couple other things that I want to show you real quick before I emboss is I took one of our metallic doilies, cut that in half. I stamped my sentiment in basic gray archival and cut that out with an oval, layering oval framelit. And then I embossed a piece of basic gray with our garden trellis embossing folder. So those are some pieces that I'm going to be working with here when I put my card together. The other thing that I have that is retired is the shimmery celebration ribbon, and I am going to use that as well on my card. So now my next step is going to be to do the same thing again. I have a little bit of adhesive there. I'm going to just tack that down, and I'm going to go ahead and use this scrap paper, I believe. Get that off of there. Okay, so I'm going to use this piece of scrap paper to do something very, very similar to what we did to start with. And now instead of our black ink, we're going to use Versamark. Same deal, is you just want to catch the edge of the Versamark pad. You don't want to go flat the whole way down, or all you're doing is just embossing a shiny flat image. What we're going to do with the edge is kind of get a little bit of streaking going on. So I just want to catch that edge, and I want to come down, and then I also am going to go up, and then I'm going to slide that over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, down and then up. And you can see why it's kind of important. I just want to make sure I'm catching that edge there too. Now I want to quickly get some embossing powder on here, and I'm using the clear embossing powder. I don't normally emboss on camera, but you kind of need to see what's up. I want that out of there because that does not belong. So we're just going to cover this whole thing with crystal clear embossing powder. Get all my extra off there. Okay, so right here is a little area that I missed, and actually I'm cool with that. I'm just going to leave it rather than to try and go back over and emboss or put more powder on. It's going to be just fine. So I'm going to heat emboss this. And you'll see it whenever it starts to get hot enough, it'll start to melt and it should get nice and shiny. Isn't embossing awesome? It's like magic. I love it. Make sure I got all of it. Okay, so now it dries pretty quickly, but you can kind of see how it's like a little bit bubbly here, and so I think that's where the black ice comes from. I don't know why they named it that, but it's a very cool technique. So now what I'm going to do is take this and attach that to a piece of basic black. And I'm going to be very liberal with my snail adhesive here because the heat embossing kind of curves the paper a little bit. And I want to make sure that it's going to stick very well. Attach that onto here. Make sure it's good and stuck down. I got some embossing powder here. It's kind of getting in my adhesive. And then I have a piece of basic gray cardstock, and I'm going to fold that in half and attach my basic gray a little bit smaller, this layer, with my garden trellis already embossed on there. It's a little bit tone on tone for that one. Then on this bottom, let me make sure I know what the bottom is. This bottom right here, I'm going to attach my silver doily, and I just have a little bit of an edge of that sticking out there at the bottom. My piece of ribbon will go across, and I'm probably going to trim that off because it's way longer than what I needed, because I have a piece so that I can do a bow as well. I'm going to trim that down, and then I want to add, I had dimensionals here, but they seem to have run away. Here they are. We're going to use some of my little side pieces of this particular pack, and I'm just going to put my dimensionals on the corners here. It's a great thing about using these dimensionals. You can drop the scissors on your right on your toe, and I am not wearing shoes. That could have been a heck of an accident. I always video. Half the time I do these videos, I'm in my pajamas. The other half, I'm barefoot. I never have shoes on. All right, so here we go. That's a little bit crooked there, but that's okay. I'm going to attach this piece here. Then I'm going to go ahead and do some more dimensionals to get my greeting on there. A couple dimensionals here, and then my final step is going to be to add my bow. And so what I'm going to do is just slide this piece under and hope that I cut it long enough. That's the main thing. Let's hope that I cut it long enough to tie a bow on here. Let's see how my left-handedness does with my bow tying ability. It's got a little twist in there, and I'm not happy about that. There we go. It's coming out all right. Yep, it's still got that twist in there, but we're gonna make it work. So then I just keep working these two little pieces here until I get the size that I want, and then I can trim off the excess and just have a gorgeous thinking of you or sympathy card in the black ice technique. So isn't that awesome? And every time you do it, it's going to come out different. And so you can use lots of different stamp sets with this. You can use silver, gold, champagne, copper foil, any kind of foil that you want, and the clear embossing pattern. You just get such a gorgeous card. So thanks so much for joining me today, you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for Movie Monday.